What is going on, my AEW sickos? Today is July 17th, 2026, and we're here to break down the Dynamite rundown, of course, that happened on July 15th, 2026. We had a show that followed up Kenny Omega's big win coming out of the pay-per-view, and of course, or not the pay-per-view, seemed like a pay-per-view. Beach Break seemed like a pay-per-view compared to this show. So coming off of the Beach Break Dynamite show last week, we had a massive celebration for Kenny Omega, very heel like segment, but not him. He didn't act heel, but just a heel like segment. Heels celebrate themselves. So weird. We have an AEW World Tag Team Championship match. We had I believe, international championship match. We had some promos from Jericho and Ciampa and some other people. Jack Perry, what's going on with him? It was just a show. Today's show. I watched it today. I finished it today. It was a drag, man. Like the show was a drag. I don't know what they did last week to make it so much more interesting. I think because there was title matches, we had a title change. You got Kenny Omega versus MJF. Anytime they wrestle on a show, it's going to be a good time. But this show sucked. There's no other way around it. This show sucked. So I'm not going to keep you guys long. I promise you I'll be in and out of here within 25 to 30 minutes tops because this show sucked. The show was boring. There was other things I could have done with my time. I haven't even watched Raw yet. I am so over wrestling right now. And I'm so sorry that this is a wrestling show, but I'm over today's wrestling at the moment. And we'll get into it when we talk about Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay or Vegeta versus Goku. Show opens up. Jon Moxley, Jon Moxley. Listen, I know Jon Moxley gets a lot of flack for his nonsense. I know that Jon Moxley, infamously known for his Rocky 3 finish with CM Punk, and everyone makes fun of him about movies. But if you watch Jon Moxley from that time to now, he thinks he's a movie star. He thinks that he's living a movie, which he's living a TV show. So I don't hate on him for it, but these over dramatic pep talks to Will Ospreay about, don't give up, follow your dreams, or whatever the hell he was talking about. You earned this. I don't know what he was talking about. He said, you earned this. You earned it. There will come a time in your life where you'll have to make some hard decisions. This is your dream. This is not a hard decision. This is simple. When you get your shot, you don't hesitate. You pull the trigger, no matter who the target is. What does that mean? Now, you would think he's speaking of Kenny Omega and how he idolizes Kenny Omega, and we'll talk about the love fest that happens later on in the show, but he was definitely talking about Kenny Omega. But was he talking about himself? Remember, guys, the Death Riders are a heel faction. Will Ospreay is a baby face. There is a baby face teamed up with the heels, and everyone's okay with it. So who knows who the target is? Maybe it's a foreshadowing to we're going to get a Will Ospreay and Jon Moxley program here pretty soon. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm over the dramatic movie style delivery that Jon Moxley gives us week in, week out. Dude, you're not Jean-Claude Van Damme. You're not Jason Statham. You're Jon Moxley. Be Jon Moxley, dude. Like, you were good at that. I don't know what this is. The first match of the night, though, we have an AEW World Tag Team Championship match. Christian Cage and Adam Copeland. Another weird dynamic where it's babyface Adam Copeland and heel Christian Cage against the Death Riders, Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta. And yes, not shockingly enough, Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta worked heel because they're part of the heel Death Riders with Will Ospreay. Yeah, 100%. So the match was long. There was a lot of he's your father chants whenever Christian Cage was in the ring, wrestling Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia at different times. At the end of the day, of course, we know that the Death Riders are not going to win this championship. Um, Adam Copeland and Cage get the win. They're still the champion. Guess who they pin? Wheeler Yuta. They pin Wheeler Yuta. Of course they do. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? While they're celebrating, the Young Bucks are above, in the rafters, or not the rafters, in the 200 level or the 100 level, or just up in the stands, clapping, wearing New Day color scheme for whatever that's worth. So I guess we're going to get the big Edge and Christian, or ENC as they're calling it, versus the Young Bucks at Wembley. That's cool, I guess. When you're an EVP, you get all your dream matches that you ever wanted. So we're not dreaming of them. No, I would rather a tag team title match. I'd rather see something different than this, but this is what we're getting, and that's it. It is what it is. It is what it is. We're gonna get Edge and Christian versus our Adam Copeland and Christian versus the Young Bucks at Wembley. And I don't know if the Young Bucks should win the titles. I don't think they should. I think Edge and Christian, ENC, should keep the titles a little bit longer. And man, I just want to see the Guns. Okay, we'll get into that. So after the match, the Dogs come in, David Finlay and all these guys. Claudio for some reason comes out too. Clark Connors, David Finlay. They beat up the good guys at ENC, and then we get the Bang 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 Gang Gang Clang, whoever they're called, whatever their name is nowadays. They came out. Bullet Club Gold, Bang Gang Club, the Guns. They came out and made the save. Weird, awkward, very, very weird, awkward transition when they were leaving the ring. It just lasted too long for Christian to oh, he's cool now. We're cool now. It was just a long segment. But it was okay. It is what it is. I can't wait. That's what I'd rather see. ENC versus the Guns. I don't know who these dogs are. I don't care who the dogs are. The dogs don't look intimidating. The dogs are boring. I know who the Guns are. They have a great gimmick. They have a great catchphrase. They're great wrestlers. Not great wrestlers. They're good wrestlers. I like the fact that Juice Robinson looks unique again. And I like that, Switchblade's back. So I like what's going on, at least in this little program. You can get away from Edge and Christian, though. They're a little too old. Too old for me. All right. Akira Shida shows up. She didn't show up. It's like a little interview. They're going to defend the TBS championship against Queen Naminata on Collision. Congratulations. Shida's been in the news lately. Question for everybody, and this is not tribalism. This is just me, a legit question. Can someone have the time, or does someone have time to look up how many Shida, Dynamite, or Collision appearances versus Brock Lesnar Raw or SmackDown appearances in the past 3 years? I would like to know who's been on their television show more. Because, Brock Lesnar gets the whole, he's a part-timer, yada, yada, yada. Shida's non-existent. She shows up maybe once a month, or not once a month, maybe once a year, maybe once a year, and then she's gone. I would like to know who's more of a part-timer on their, I'm sure Shida's wrestling in gyms all across Japan. I'm sure she's wrestling in high schools all across, Oklahoma, wherever they're wrestling. But on AEW, where she gets her paycheck from, I wonder how many times she's shown up. I know this. I don't know about appearances, but I know since 2024, January 1st of 2024 to current, she's wrestled on Dynamite and Collision 27 times since 2024. And 8 of those matches have been on Dynamite. So the majority of her career in the last 2 years or so have been on a show nobody watches on Saturday night. That's all. I just want to know if she's been here longer than Brock Lesnar. Who has more appearances? I bet you it's closer than you guys think. What is El Idolo? Who is El Idolo? How do you know? That's his catchphrase. How do you know? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We're talking Andrade. I just went on a little Shida rant, because not rant, just if you build a division, here I go again. If you build a division of women that are consistent, and I know their journey and I know what they want, like for example, Tiffany Stratton. I look at her, I know what she wants, I know who her character is, I know what she wants to do with her career. I look at someone like Charlotte Flair. I know what she wants. I know what her goals are. I know what she wants to do with her career, character wise. I look at Liv Morgan. I look at Io Sky. I look at all these women. I look at all their accolades and what they want to do in their story. And I go back to AEW. One day Megan Bain's in a tag team with Penelope Cruz, whoever her name is. The next day she's in a tag team with Queen Aminata. The next day she's bodyguarding for Mercedes. The next day she's in a tag team with who. It's just constantly changing. And yes, I do know Jade's story. I know what she wants. She wants to be the best. She's that bitch. She has an identity. These women on Dynamite, they just don't have an identity. They're just there. They wrestle. They go home and they come back. There's no identity besides the big ones, Toni Storm, Mercedes. But if you look at someone, like I said, Megan Bain, what is she? Who is she? Why is she there? What's her goal? What's her purpose? Alexa Bliss. I know what she wants. I know her story. I know her character. Just character development versus, the women's division specifically. I did these women in the Maya World. You have a chance to make a star. Let's see if they do it. I doubt they will, but let's see if they do it. Anyway, Andrade. How you know? How you know? He had a interview backstage about how he wants to be the AEW champion. I like Andrade. I love Andrade. I think Andrade is a perfect in-ring professional wrestler. I think that he can't cut a promo for language barriers. I think that he can't hold a top program. He won't sell tickets like an MJF. He won't be interesting in the top tier of talent. He's not a main eventer. You guys don't want to hear that. I understand that. He's not a main eventer. He can't cut a promo. He can't tell a story. He's a great in-ring wrestler. That's all I have to say about Andrade. Love to see him work. I don't want to see him as champion. But that's AEW. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. He's going to get a shot. Will he be champion? No, you never know. You never know in AEW. Anyone can be champion because they're more of a simulated real sport than the WWE. Like, you can go in there. Like, I compared the new inception of AEW back when it was new. I was like, this is like UFC. Anyone can be 19-0, but if you have a bad night and get knocked out, there's a new champion. That's how AEW felt. Like when I saw Adam Hangman Page get pinned randomly by Brian Cage on a random Dynamite one night. That was weird because anything could happen in AEW. That's why it's so hard to keep up and so hard to keep invested in AEW, because you look at someone like an MJF, like, yeah, he's the best. He's my favorite wrestler in AEW, but he's losing to Kevin Knight before Kevin Knight was Kevin Knight. Now he's losing to Mark Briscoe in table matches when Mark Briscoe at the time was an underneath guy. It's like, you don't know how to book these guys and you think them losing. Like, you need to protect certain talent. That's what I'm going to say about that. And this goes into Andrade, because we have Andrade El Idolo versus Jake Doyle. I have nothing against Jake Doyle. I have nothing against Jake Doyle. But apparently if he beats Jake Doyle, he gets a national title shot against Mark Davis. That's not what Andrade wants. He said it multiple times. I want to be an AEW world champion. Again, you're muddying, if I can say that word, the waters. He wants an AEW world championship match. He has his path set. What did I just complain about the women? I don't know who they are. I don't know what they want. I don't know what they stand for. Even though I don't think Andrade should be a main eventer, it doesn't matter what I think. It matters what Tony Khan thinks. And if he wants to be an AEW world champion, listen, you don't have CM Punk. Andrade's not on that level. I should take it back. Someone on Andrade's level in the WWE, Braun Breaker. No, Braun Breaker's ahead of him. Just think about someone that's on his level and go, I want to be the WWE world champion. And he's been talking about it for weeks. But hey, he's in a number one contender match for the United States Championship match. Why would you do that? That's not what the guy wants. That's not what the woman wants. That's not what the professional wrestler wants. That's like saying, "Hey, honey, my wife tonight. Hey, I want a steak dinner tonight." And she goes, "Okay, I understand that you want a steak dinner, but if you do the dishes tonight, I will treat you to a hot dog dinner tonight instead." It's not what I want. It's not what I want. So that's what we're gonna get apparently. Andrade does beat Don Callis' family member Jake Doyle in a forever match. If you want to protect Andrade, you want to protect your talent, he shouldn't be going 20 something minutes with Jake Doyle, a jobber, an underneath guy, a guy who's never won. If you want to build a star, Andrade should have beat this guy in 3 to 5 minutes. Simple. Very simple. But they went like 20. That's the AEW way. So Andrade earns a AEW National Championship match against Mark Davis. AEW Redemption. Kenny Omega has a championship celebration, a heel thing to do. Who celebrates themselves? Besides, girls in high school who think it's their birthday, so they need to wear a sash that says it's my birthday, or Kenny Omega, babyface. Babyfaces don't really walk around gloating about how great they are and have a celebration on themselves. But hey, that's what they did. That's what they wanted to do. It's okay. Young Bucks talked. It is what it is. It was kind of boring. Not until Will Ospreay comes out. Basically, Kenny Omega just like, yeah, I'm the best. Yada yada yada. I worked hard. My friends believed in me. My friends believed in me. I did the impossible. I won the championship. I'm going to Wembley. Then we get Will Ospreay comes out and the crowd pops because when that music hits, Ospreay has music that when it hits, you pop. Dun 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 dun. Like it's awesome. And it's got the spray. Like it's a great, great song. We didn't even talk about them singing to Adam Copeland before. That was cool too. But this is cool when Will Ospreay pops. Here we go. He comes out. And then, puts a promo on Kenny. It all boils down to this is the modern day, or the closest thing we can get to Vegeta and Goku. Now, I get the reference. I am 40 years old. I grew up coming out of middle school every day, coming home to Cartoon Network and watching Toonami, and it was Dragon Ball Z. And it was Goku, Vegeta, Frieza, Krillin. I mean, I watched Dragon Ball Z. I like the shirts. I used to draw the anime. Like I was a big Dragon Ball Z guy. Austin Creed, and Kofi Kingston. I don't know his real name. They're, into that video game genre too, in the whole anime genre too. Like we know wrestlers are into this stuff. So it's no secret. But the average casual fan is looking at that going, who the hell's Goku and who's Vegeta? I would assume that half the audience didn't know who those people were. If you knew who they were, let me know. I knew. But it got a little pop, whatever. But they said Sunday, the 30th of August, Wembley Stadium, the main event, World Championship match. Let them show that this is where the best wrestle. That's what Will Ospreay said. So it's pretty much a babyface versus babyface love match on August 30th. What other promotions have a big show coming up in August where it's babyface versus babyface? Let me give you a clue. All of them. Every world championship match in both major promotions, the AEW World Championship is Will Ospreay babyface with the heel group. Kenny Omega babyface for the AEW World Championship match. On Raw, you have Roman babyface versus, well, if he's not a babyface, people cheer for him and he gets the cheers and he sucks it all in. Roman Reigns, ones will acknowledge him like he's a babyface. And then you got Seth Rollins, babyface. And the story is we're just kind of like Will Ospreay and Kenny. We're always in each other's way. You're the GOAT. I'm the GOAT. We're the GOATs. We're the greatest. And then you look at SmackDown. And you have babyface CM Punk versus babyface Cody Rhodes. So between the 6 competitors going for their respective title, they're all baby faces and they all love each other and they're all jerking each other off and they're all just lovey. Brother this, brother that, brother this, brother that. Right, LA Knight? Yeah. What is this? Where's the heat? Where's the heat, man? Who wants this? Like when it happened, when Kenny Omega won the championship, I'm like, okay, cool. This is gonna be cool. This is gonna be. I was joking. I was going over the top. Hogan versus Rock. Idol versus Idol. It's Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. The general wrestling public doesn't know who these people are. But on the other side, you have the same thing. So like, where do I go for my conflict? You had it. We have already gone over it. You had it set up. MJF versus freaking Ospreay. That was it. That was money. I don't know why you didn't do it. Maybe MJF's hurt. Maybe MJF's going to miss Wembley. I don't know. But I do know this. I'm not into it. I'm not into it like I thought I would be into it. Maybe when the show gets closer, I'll get more into it. But as for now, with Will Ospreay and his situation, getting hyped up by the heels in a storyline that makes no sense, and Kenny Omega being the old dude who can't go as much as he could go back in the day, let's be honest, when you could have had MJF versus Ospreay, and I think you would have drawn more. I think you would have had a better match. But who am I? I'm not the booker. I'm just telling you what happened. After this happened, we got Kevin Knight that comes out. He was promised a shot. Kenny Omega says, I don't care. Who promised you that shot? I didn't promise you that shot. So they go and talk. Kenny's like, oh, I see a lot in you that I saw in myself. You're young. You got the talent. You jump higher. You run faster. Your moves are better. You got the look. You're buying into Don Callis. I used to be you. When I had my celebration before, nobody came. And I thought it was because of me. It was because nobody likes Don. Yada, yada, yada. So pretty much he's telling Kevin Knight he's going down the wrong path and he should turn his life around, go back to Speedball and become best friends again and be a tag team. Listen, Kevin, we're just talking about logistically, like storyline, like in the story, in the world, the universe of AEW. Kevin Knight was here with Speedball, here, because he was like in a tag team that sucked. And now he's like here with Don Callis because he's main event pay-per-view with Kenny Omega. Just but in story, like in the universe. So Kenny's wrong. Kevin Knight made he made the best decision for his career. So in the story, in the real, like in their little world that they live in, Kenny's wrong. Because Kevin Knight's never been more valuable, never been on top of the card, never been in the main event like this. So good job, Kevin. I think you're doing great. I think Kevin Knight has the look. I think he has the moves. I think his promo is shaky at best, but it's getting there. I like this. I hope Kevin Knight is the first person, and I know that you sickos are going to hate me on this. I hope Kevin Knight's the first one that grows, that actually breaks that glass ceiling and makes himself a star. You can say Swerve, he was already good before he got there. People were already into him. People were stoked when he showed up. Don't say that he broke through in AEW. People were waiting for this. People wanted this. Look at everybody else that came from WWE that went over there. Rusev, Aleister Black, Malachi Black. None of them broke out. Andrade even didn't break out yet. Kevin Knight could be the first true non-WWE guy to actually make a name for himself. And I hope they do it. And I think the heel route's the best route. I don't like that he's with Don Callis, but it did elevate his career a little bit. So good for Tony Khan for taking a shot on someone like Kevin Knight. I'm not going to go on here and on this main event like everybody else is. Give Kevin, it's a one-off pay-per-view that means nothing. It's a transitional pay-per-view to get to Wembley. Let Kevin Knight have his match. Kenny Omega beats him 1, 2, 3. I think this should have been main event MJF versus Kenny Omega, but they didn't want to do that. It's okay. It's all right. What's next for Jungle Jack Perry? Find out on Collision. So that means 7 of you will find out. So then we have Brodito versus Nick Camarato and Aaron Solo. And if you think I watched this, I went to AEW International Championship match, the Proto Star, Kyle Fletcher versus Commander. If you think I watched this, you're right. I watched it. I didn't want to be honest. I don't care about Commander. I don't care about Commander. I do not care about Commander. I do not care about Commander. I understand why they're doing it, because if he's going to have a feud with Bandito, which sign me up. Kyle Fletcher versus Bandito, sign me up, brother. Like, put Bandito over, brother. That's what I want to see. I like Bandito. I think Bandito has potential. I think Bandito is a top 10 talent there. If he can get a mouthpiece, dude, sky's the limit. I actually love Bandito. So the story is we're going to have Kyle Fletcher versus Luchadors or Masks Men throughout until we get to this title match, I'm assuming. Hey, Tony, TK, my brother, my dude, I'm starting to get back in the Dynamite. I've been in here like 5 weeks straight now. I've seen more title matches on Dynamite television than I need to see in a year. We don't need these matches. We can have this match, but the title doesn't need to be on the line every single time. Commander should have to earn this spot. He shouldn't just be giving it to him because he has a mask and he's available and he was in catering. Just because Kyle Fletcher's feuding with another guy in a mask. You see what I'm trying to say here? Let's rewind way back in the day when Jinder Mahal got a title shot, Tony, TK, my dude, my brother. And you went on Twitter and you said, what did Jinder Mahal have to do to get a title shot? Brother, ever since that day, you've just given title shots to literally everyone on the card. I don't think there's one person on your roster that hasn't had a title shot. That's ridiculous. That means it's zero. That means the international championship means zero, because you're just giving it to everybody. If I gave my kid a pack of Skittles every single day, I know this is very low stake, and some of you parents probably do this. Stop doing it, though. You're going to kill your kid. But if I gave my son a pack of Skittles every day, it wouldn't be special. Like, where's my effing Skittles? He would expect Skittles every day. Now, if I gave him Skittles maybe once a month, even once a week, he would look forward to his Skittles. If I get a title shot every single Dynamite multiple times a night, tag team championship, international championship, TNT championship, continental championship, ROH championship, TBS championship. If I get all these title matches every single night, sure. You know, when you buy a Porsche, the Porsche is so cool because you have a Porsche. But after a while, it just becomes your car. You get a title match on Dynamite, that should be cool, man. Kenny Omega versus MJF, that should have been like a wow, special night. But when you have Darby Allin doing a title match on Collision and then Dynamite, then Collision, then Dynamite, then Collision, then Dynamite, that's not greatness. That's watered down. It's meaningless. Stupid. AEW World Championship champion Kenny Omega gets confronted by Darby Allin and Jon Moxley. So pretty much Kenny's gonna get involved with a bunch of main eventers, because after he beats Kevin Knight, after he loses to Will Ospreay, he's gonna have to do something to do. I don't know. I truly think we're gonna get Ospreay versus Moxley next. That's where we're gonna go. The biggest thing. A couple more segments and then we're gonna get out of here again, because there's nothing that happens after this, especially this segment. The Brawling Birds are the best tag team in AEW, they say. Remember when Jamie Hayter used to mean something? This was embarrassing. I'm going to move on. This was embarrassing. Jericho has a backstage segment. So does Tommaso Ciampa, hyping up their match for Redemption. This was freaking awesome. Not everything's negative today, guys. Not everything's negative. I promise. This is a bad show, though. The show sucked. Jericho was, I'm a sucker for silhouettes. And when Jericho, I can tell it's Jericho, obviously, but he's talking about Ciampa, his match at Redemption, and how he's going to bring the pain. He turns his face, and you see his face mask or face paint. He's the pain maker. He's going to bring the pain maker, and he gives a scary face. That's cool. I mean, you might not think it's cool, but I think it's cool. And then it cuts to Ciampa. He gives his little promo. He does such a better promo than almost anybody on Dynamite, especially these backstage segments. He just seems such a psychopath. He cuts his little promo on Jericho. Pretty much says that if anyone challenges him on Collision, he's going to whoop their ass in Boston because that's where he's from. The city of champions. The city of Ciampa. Sorry, sir. I live in Tampa. Ciampa Bay. Go Bolts. Bruins suck. That's all I have to say about that. Darby Allin defeats Brian Cage. Yeah, that makes sense. 120-pound man loses to a jacked up 280-pound steroid user. Definitely makes sense. But Allin will face Kevin Knight for the TNT title next week on Dynamite. If Darby Allin beats Kevin Knight for the TNT title before he faces Kenny Omega, I don't think I'll do the show anymore. I think I'll just give up. I'm being serious. I'll just give up. Kyle Fletcher then challenges Bandito at Redemption. Of course, the heel champion is going to not cower away and come up with excuses. He's going to straight up just challenge the babyface. I'm here for it. I love it. I can't wait. This is probably the match I'm looking forward to the most at Redemption. Kevin Knight has a conversation with Speedball Mike Bailey. There's nothing really much to talk about here. Speedball is the worst promo in the world. That's it. I don't know, guys. I don't know what to do with Speedball. I don't know what I would do with Speedball. I wouldn't hire Speedball. I would have fired him. That's not fair to say. He has I don't know. Like, I know his character. I know his direction. He's a babyface. He's white meat babyface who only does the right things, but he's only 125 pounds and he does karate. There's not really much. Listen, 5'5" dudes can't play in the NBA. They can't. Next, we have a 2026 Owen Hart Women's Tournament Championship. Mercedes. I don't know why they listed it like that, but we have Mercedes Moné and Megan Bain and Lena Cross versus Willow, Maya World, and someone named Hyen. If you think I watched this match, you're crazy. This was the last match of the night. We were already past 2 hours before this match even started. I don't have time for a meaningless 6-woman tag match. I'm sure it was great. I saw the little video online where they were swinging the belts like they had massive D's. Cool. Congratulations, Mercedes Moné. You are the champion. You will be the champion soon. You will beat Thekla. And that's what it is, man. That's the Dynamite show. That's the show. It was a waste of my time. It was not a good show this week. The good things coming out, I'm going to be positive. The good things coming out of it is we have Kevin Knight, a little bit more of a development of a promo against Kenny Omega. Anytime you get into a ring with a true main eventer, it's always a special moment for your career. So that was a cool moment for Kevin Knight. Other than that, though, the show was throwaway. It was meaningless. There was meaningless matches. There was matches that mattered. But again, we knew the results. Nothing shocked me on the show. Nothing made me go, I need to come back and watch this. Nothing made me go, what's going to happen between Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega next week? Nothing made me want to go say, I can't wait till 8 o'clock on Wednesday night. On July, whatever July that is. July, calendar's not pulling up. July 22nd. I can't wait to see what happens with Kenny and Will. What are they going to do? Jerk each other off again? Same thing with Raw. I didn't watch Raw yet. I didn't have time. What did Seth and Roman do? Jerk each other off again too? I didn't watch SmackDown. What did Cody and CM Punk do? Jerk each other? Babyface versus babyface. Hey, little brother, big brother, little brother. Where's the heat? Where's the heat in my wrestling? I don't get it, man. But I'm going to leave it at that. We'll be back next week for Dynamite Rundown tomorrow, Saturday, 5 p.m. Bobby and myself. We will be doing a no holds barred wrestling show here on the No Holds Barred Wrestling channel, by the way. We will be talking WrestleMania. I believe we're on WrestleMania 14. I believe it's all a blur this week. It's been a crazy week for me, at least personally, but I didn't do Real Talk Wrestling last night. Chris Koffler, El Ginger Americano, was up in Fanatics Fest in New York dealing with that weather. If you're dealing with that weather or whatever that is up there, stay safe. So we'll be back tomorrow, WrestleMania 14, breaking it down. Bobby should be on here sometime doing his Monday Night Nitro reviews with his brother. If you didn't catch last week's WrestleMania 13, we had an all-star panel. It was the greatest WrestleMania review we've done up to date. We had Adrian from the Rainy Day podcast. We had Nick, who is Bobby's brother, who is a entertainer, musician, wrestler. We had Bobby Melendez, of course, host of the No Holds Barred Wrestling podcast. We had many. I know there was more of you. We had Finstock Sammy out there. We had a great time. And I'm spacing out. It was so late. Who the hell else was on the show? I know there was someone else. I'm spacing out, and I'm going to get a text from Bobby. And I'm going to be very upset because we had a great time. It wasn't Nick, Sammy, Adrian, and myself. There was only 4 of us. If there was 5, I am so sorry. It was late, though. 9:00 p.m., late night. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Have fun. Be back next week, guys. Peace out.